Guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Codenamechanel, and I'm back, but clearly I'm back with the story time. Now, this story time is going to be a continuance of my Dubai story time. The original story time will be attached in the description box, and it'll be at the end of this video. So if you have not seen my Dubai story time, it's like at 170,000 views. I didn't know it was going to take off like that, but I've done like kind of like a little response to that video, but I just need to do a part 2, clear some things up, and yeah, want to hear a juicy ass story time? Stay tuned.
Spend it, baby, spend it, baby, on me. Spend it, baby, spend it. Prada and on me.
Oh my god! So first off, the Dubai story time was really like it's not even really a Dubai story time because I've never in my life been to Dubai. As of this video in the story time, it was just about this girl, call her Yoshi. Me and her did bottle service together, and she kind of was putting me on to this other girl who I call in the story, I call her Ruby.
A slutatious hawk.
Or whatever. She was like telling me we can go to Dubai, she'll pay for the trip. Then it ended up just being a whole big ass scam that they're trying to get girls out to Dubai to, I don't know.
Probably fuck.
I'm gonna talk about how Yoshi did end up confronting me, okay? I do the story time, and at the end of the story time, I'm like, hey, I never talked to Ruby again. Ruby is the girl who I feel like was the head, you know, little trying to get the girls to go to Dubai. It's allegedly because I'm not sure what she wanted, you know, to do or for us to do out there, but honestly, truly, it just seemed to me like they were on some other shit because of the guy that she FaceTimed in my last story time. They wanted me to come over. Let's do a little meet and greet, talk about Dubai. And the guy that she FaceTime was doing inappropriate gestures and saying inappropriate things on FaceTime. Now, again, when he was on FaceTime with me, I was not sure exactly what he was doing, but it looked like he was doing a little bit of drugs, okay? So I was like, I feel like they were getting me ready what could possibly happen when I go there. And again, I don't even know if this guy was even in Dubai or if he was just FaceTime from his bathroom in New York. Who knows, you know? So that did not scar me or make me not want to go to fucking Dubai. Like, that is a small part. They got a lot of shit going on other than people trying to, like, everybody thinks that everybody has this fecal fetish, and if you don't know what a fecal fetish is, look it up. A small percentage, and motherfuckers do that in the United States too. Okay, they have these weird ass fetishes. Anyway, I end that story time 7 months ago. Like I said, I go on, I live my life. Recently, I took a trip to Atlanta because my niece goes to Clark. So I took a trip to there, helped her pack up her dorm or whatever, and had a blast. I went to go see one of my friends out there, and we ended up going to like this little hookah lounge or whatever. We're with my friend and another mutual friend of ours, which was a guy. He was like, oh yeah, you guys want bottle service? You know, let me know. I was like, get the bottle service, right? So he taps me and he's like, hey, like, ain't that the social media girl? Like, ain't that such and such? So when he taps me, I look up and I see that it's Yoshi. And I'm like, oh shit, that is her. So now, like I said, Yoshi is a social media influencer. She had a bunch of followers when I met her. She even took off even more or whatever. So I didn't know if she's seen my video or if like, and someone told me that someone made a response to my video on TikTok. But again, around that time, I wasn't even on TikTok. So I don't know if it's true or not. And then when people send me stuff like that, I promise you, I don't click on it or anything. If I see it, I'm like, okay, it's drama. I don't want to deal with it. When I tell my stories, it's not to be malicious to anybody or whatever. It's just a story that happened to me. If I spice some things up a little bit, if I do something or whatever, okay, tell your own story, but I won't be watching it. So I don't know if Ruby, that's the other girl, that's the one I feel like was the head bitch in charge. I feel like she was on TikTok and she had did a little response, and one of my friends was like, oh yeah, like, you know, they felt like she was saying it towards me. But again, I don't know if Ruby and Yoshi were even friends. So Yoshi comes over and she takes our order, and, you know, we order a bottle or whatever like that. And she immediately realized it's me, and she's like, hey, Chanel, like, girl, and she looks gorgeous, you know, and I was, like I said, I was looking cute, I was doing my thing. I'm like, hey girl. So the place is super packed. Like, this is the weekend, it's packed, it's hella people in there or whatever. And this was only my like 3rd time in Atlanta, so I was like definitely catching the vibe or whatever. And, you know, once she said say hey to me or whatever, like, I knew that there was no like hostility or anything, like any beef or anything between us. We drank our bottles, we were there, we were having fun. So this guy comes up to me, he's just random. This is a recent story time, you guys. So this random guy comes up to me or whatever, and he's like, oh yeah, you know Ruby, right? So he asked me if I know Ruby, and we're in our section, right? And he's like, you know Ruby, right? Like you know her. Keep in mind, the lounge that I'm in is a really popping lounge in Atlanta. So there was a few like Instagram like influencers and a few people there. There was a few little arrogant little hair baddies that he be with. They were there too. So it was like a popping lounge. So he asked me if I know Ruby or whatever. And I'm like,
You can back up a little bit.
Oh, wow.
yeah, I know Ruby, like, and then I point out, I was like, me and her and Yoshi, we used to be like cool or whatever like that. I just thought that was weird, y'all. Swear, I was just like, it was just a random guy that just asked me if I know Ruby. So I actually went up to Yoshi and I'm like, do you know that guy right there, whatever? Like, he asked me if I knew Ruby, and she was like, oh yeah, that's Ruby's boyfriend. And I'm like, so she told me that her and Ruby, they actually have an apartment together and they both live in Atlanta. And I'm like, what a surprise. Like, I see you here. But again, like I said, y'all, this is a really popping spot. She's a popping Instagram influencer, bottle girl, whatever. So, of course, you know, she would be there. So, of course, like, it wasn't like a super coincidence that I seen her there. And again, you guys, like I said in the previous story time with Yoshi, this is about, I didn't just immediately like just fall out with this girl. I seen her around. No, we didn't really talk about what happened or whatever. But I felt like this time, I know y'all, I was drinking and stuff like that. But I'm like, I need to get some few things off my chest, because like I said, it was a little awkward, but we still was working at the same club, still working the same tables, doing bottle service together after the incident happened. So I had a few things I want to get off my chest, but I was like, maybe this just isn't the time or the place. And I just feel it weird that she told Ruby's boyfriend that I was there or whatever.
It's getting weird.
So my friend, she sees like my mood has changed or whatever, and I tell her, I'm like, did you watch that story time on my channel? And she was like, oh yeah, I watched the story time. I'm like, yeah, that's the girl. So my friend, she's pretty crazy. Like I said, you guys, she's been in my previous story times as well. She was in my story time when I was like, when I went back to stripping and it was a mess and her boyfriend had showed up and stuff like that. That's her. So I go to the bathroom, right? Once I get to the bathroom, out of the bathroom, and I see Yoshi like standing outside the bathroom. She asked me, she was like, did you block me on Instagram? So I knew I didn't put this in the last story time either. I didn't block her on Instagram. She ended up unfollowing me like sometime in between. So, and then I unfollow her, because that's my thing is like, once you unfollow me, I guess like to me it's no beef, but it's like I'm about to unfollow you. You don't want to see me, I don't want to see you. Boom. Like, did you block me? And I'm like, no, you unfollowed me, I unfollowed you, like not a big deal or whatever. And then she was like, I know you do YouTube and stuff like that or whatever now. And she was like telling me like kind of trying to catch me up on her, like her life and stuff like that. And I was just like, nah, we need to talk. So I told her, I was like, look, I did a story time on my YouTube channel, and I actually pulled up the story time, and I was like, what, like, if you want me, I can DM it to you and send it to you or whatever. And she was like, well, I never watched it, but yes, Ruby did tell me that you did a story time. And then she was like, a lot of the stuff that you were saying, like, she don't even remember happening. But like, it's like, do you not remember? Like, it's not you saying that it didn't happen, it's you don't remember happening. Like,
today I would like to talk very briefly about toxic amnesia. So we might hear it referred to as selective memory.
She told me she did. Yoshi told me she did end up going to Dubai, and she was like, it's nothing like how I thought it was going to be, and that's not what happened. And again, like, her and Ruby are like best friends. They consider themselves like sisters now. And she was like, she apologized, y'all. She was like, she never wanted to put me in that position or I felt uncomfortable. Did accept her apology. I was like, okay, cool. Like, we're in the club, I'm tipsy or whatever, and I felt like it was gonna come to me confronting her to Dubai, and it wasn't nothing like that. Like, I don't know what everybody else be doing, but we just went with some guys, we had fun or whatever, and it wasn't a huge deal and stuff like that. She was like, but that was years ago, that's water under the bridge. Like, you know, can we still be friends? And I just told her, I was like, you know what, it is what it is, whatever. But I don't never want to be friends with somebody like that. I don't want to be friends with somebody that I don't feel like, she apologized, but I still don't feel like she took accountability for what happened. And again, like, when I walked out, if you go to my last story time, like, I literally walked out of the apartment because I was so fucking disgusted. And I feel like if this was the necessary, if you really felt apologetic or you really felt like you were sorry or something like that, you would have reached out to me a long time ago. Again, I will say that I did say in the last story time, she did text me the next morning, and she was like, you know, hey girl, what's up or whatever. But she didn't say, hey girl, I'm sorry what happened. You don't like that made you uncomfortable. She never said that. So I feel like it's a difference between an apology and taking accountability. You're sorry. It's like, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Not, I'm sorry that I did that to you. I leave the bathroom. whatever. I tell my friend what happened. You know, we have fun or whatever like that. And then I'm gonna do a separate story time on actually that Atlanta story itself, y'all. Like, oh my God, I probably should have added it with this story, but it's just that Atlanta trip I just took was just one of the craziest trips of my entire life. But we're not gonna talk about that right now. We're just gonna focus on the small part of me running into Yoshi from the Dubai story time. So after that, Yoshi started following me on Instagram. A few weeks later, and I'm in her close friends or whatever. Y'all, Instagram, I did follow her back. So I ended up being in her close friends. And in her close friends or whatever, they are taking another Dubai trip. Like, they literally went to Dubai again. And if you stroll down her page, I'm like, if you stroll down her page, like, I'm about to give y'all the page. But if then I'm strolling down her page and they're in Dubai all the fucking time. And again, I don't know what they're doing. That's none of my business. I feel like if that's what y'all doing, cool. But like, to try to like trick somebody into going with y'all and do whatever like that, oh, it's not like that, it's not like that. But then she in Dubai all the time. Maybe they just models, do being models. I don't know. It's so funny, like, she had me in her close friends, and then y'all, her close friends wasn't popping up no more. Then I looked at my following again, because I know she's a weird ass bitch.
Yes, she is a bitch. B-I-C-T-H.
And she unfollowed me again, and then I just fucking unfollowed her again, which is weird. I know, like, people are like, it's not a big deal, it's social media, but like, literally, y'all, we don't live in 1993. Like, Instagram is how some people are making their fucking income. Like, YouTube is how people are making their fucking income. Like, TikTok is how people are making an income, making a living. So when you say social media, oh, it's not that deep, it's not that deep. It is. People do weird shit on social media on purpose to provoke you. So it's weird that, like, I'm in her close friends, like, they're in Dubai, they're on yachts and shit like that, and then all of a sudden I'm out of her close friends again and we unfollow each other. But I guess, so that's pretty much it, you guys. I just want to give y'all a teeny bit of that. Give this video a thumbs up if you like watching it. Subscribe at the bottom if you like watching me. And go ahead and follow me on Instagram, Codenamechanel. My Snapchat is Chanel Kid Herb. My TikTok is Codenamechanel. And I have a Patreon where I give sugaring tips and finesse tips for ladies who want to do platonic sugaring, okay? And you guys, I'm out. Thank you for watching. I'm out.